Forbes India presents MConnect, powered by Marmo Solution.
Welcome to MConnect, celebrating architectural excellence and innovation. In this series, we get you perspectives about life and work from renowned architects. Today's theme is Built to Breathe, where we will talk about sustainability, nature, and human-centric design. Can walls breathe? Can materials speak? Can nature be a co-creator? All this and more with our remarkable panel. Let's welcome Anuradha Aggarwal, the founder of Studio Olives Cre. Anuradha is from Delhi, and her award-winning creations are a fusion of vintage and experimental new age designs. Then we have Vaibhav Dimri, the principal and co-founder of Anagram Architects. Vaibhav is also from Delhi and is known for material innovation and creatively experimenting with new ideas. And finally, we have Asit B. Gupta. He is the principal architect at Studio Clay. Asit is from Meerut and has worked on diverse projects including high-end residences, hospitals, restaurants, offices, and factories. A big welcome to all of you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anuradha, we'll begin with you.
Yeah.
Can you remember a space that has felt truly alive to you, and what do you think really made it breathe?
So if I remember, while working on some residential project, when we are talking about the nature, how you're bringing the nature inside the house is very important. Like, nature is not only green. Nature means, the sunlight. Nature means the air. Nature means the water. So all these things, when we are talking about, we used to give a courtyard in the houses. So that brings a light inside the house. Even if you're sitting inside the house, you are connected to the nature. That's why we are giving skylights. We are giving all roofing so that we can feel the raindrops. So that's a project we have done in Raipur, where we are bringing the inside courtyard and giving life to the house.
That's lovely. Vaibhav, do you have a similar experience? And also, have you built something that turned out to be more ecological than you had planned for it?
I mean, not completely ecological in that sense, but the idea always, when you do a public project, I think there is a lot of guesswork all architects do. So you sort of give hints to the public, and then you expect that the public would understand those hints and then act upon them. So one such project I would want to talk about is a pavilion we were supposed to design. It's in Kochi Biennale. It's called Kudaram. And as in our take, usually the pavilions there have been basically completely insulated from outside. It's been completely like a dark room because you need to project films and you need to give lectures. But we sort of tried to do something else, and it's supposed to be a temporary structure. So the challenge was, how do we we took it so that it becomes more open to public. So we made it like partly out of bamboo, partly out of steel, made it more sort of transparent. And I think, and the trees were within the structure. And I think the public lapped it up quite well, as in the way they were like impromptu dance performances, which we never expected. People started using the space when it was being unoccupied. So when there are obviously programs going on, then it's going on. But when it was unoccupied, people used to walk through it, they used to experience the space. There were places to sit randomly on top so that even if something is happening, you don't disturb and you come and watch. I think when architects deal with public realm, is when I think the true sort of joy of architecture happens, because then there are a lot of unpredictability. And similarly, so when there were trees were there, so I don't know ecological per se, but the leaves are falling, so the transparent roof gets covered by that. When it clears up, the sunlight is different. So the experience changes every day.
Right.
So I think that's what I would like. So it's like a lot of things which are sort of not really predictable, but they are welcome when it happens.
Right. And one important thing you said is it's also about how people actually use the space.
Exactly.
Right,
yeah.
right. Asit, do you believe that true sustainability is achievable from the lens of an architect? And what is the most sustainable project that you have worked on?
See, for me, sustainability, 100% sustainability is a theoretical construct. Well, see, what matters is the intention of an architect. How he is more sensitive to his climate, ecology, nature all around us, and his aesthetics. Because see, we are living in a real world. We are not living in any other. So whatever solution that we need, they also have to be real. So I always term it as a balanced sustainability rather than only calling it sustainability. Because whatever you are designing, the solution that you need, it has to be a balance between what you desire, your intention, and the constraints that you design in. Because every design is based on time and space. Okay? So if you are designing the same project, say, I can design it in Mumbai, I can design it in Delhi, I can design it in a second tier city, and if I am the same architect, the solution would be different. So this design would start with my intention,
Right.
but the solution would be different. So always we have to strike a balance between what is the intention and the constraint of that particular site. So you just can't say कि 100% sustainability is achievable. It has to be an optimum balance between what we desire and what we can achieve.
Your most balanced, sustainable project?
I was working on an industrial project. It is a printing unit. If you have heard of Arihant Publications. So it's an outright industrial building, but if you look at it, you don't feel that it's an industrial building because we have gone overboard using lot of soft landscape into it, and even still not compromising on the quality of requirement that they had, the type of spaces that they needed. So it's always amalgamation of the client's dream, an architect's vision, and a balance between his cost and time.
Right. Anuradha, they were just talking about constraints. I want you to also come in, but this time from the lens of nature. You know, so has nature ever imposed a liberating constraint on you? And how did that work out?
So it always depends, you know, where you are coming up with the project. Like if you're working in a coastal zone, coastal areas, you know, the climate is totally unpredictable. You know, there are rains, there are other topography which you cannot handle when you're working. So while doing those projects, you have to really meet the timelines that the rainy season is coming. You have to finish something, like you're going into the basement, and then the basement is like, you know, not covered or something like that. Then the project will, you know, suffer a lot.
Absolutely.
So when you're working in a coastal, it is always a challenge. So you have to plan the things according to the challenge wherever you are working, whether it is Mumbai, Delhi, or any other, you know, South India or everywhere. So it all depends.
Right. Vaibhav, have you ever had an experience where working in nature felt like it is a collaborator and it's not just giving you context?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times. The first time that happened actually, because initially we were doing a lot of set design for TV sets, and then we went into residential work. But then long time back we started doing this project. It was the resort in Corbett, and it was basically a clearing of a forest which was already cleared, and it was primarily like fields. So our idea was, because the client also, it stemmed from the client's budget, his timeline and all of that, but the idea was to let the nature first populate the site. So we didn't sort of, we built little bit and let the nature take it over. We built more, then we let the nature take over. And basically we were just sort of figuring out where to put things and, you know, how to, and it was very hands-on because we were very young and we were sleeping on the site and we were doing all of that. And that was a starting. And it really sort of, right now, if you look at that project, it's completely like the building is not there. It's more sort of, more sort of nature has overgrown the entire site, and it feels very nice. It really feels like you're in the jungle. Though the building is made of regular stone and stuff, but it just, the nature has completely taken over. The better way to build is to build minimal, sort of respect what has been there for centuries. And you are much newer to this planet than the nature was.
Absolutely.
So you have to really respect that.
Yes.
So we really respect the unbuilt more than the built, you know. We are not landscape architects, but that's our sort of intention always.
That's so interesting. Valuing the unbuilt more than the built.
In any project, except residential in, you know, cities where there are anyways no trees, your unbuilt, your ground coverage, so to say, is 30%, 40%, and the rest of the site, which is 60%, is not built.
Yeah.
So actually, the bigger design is not built design.
It's a landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a landscape, and nature also kind of gets to
Exactly.
flourish in that bit.
And that is why it is always so very interesting to amalgamate your built and open spaces.
Absolutely.
And it is such a sorry state when I was doing landscape as a master's. And after you started practicing, so the client's need is always to just color the sheet green. That is what landscape is for them.
Yes.
They don't understand how their own space, investing less, can give them a better result if they amalgamate that open and built space, what he is talking about. So, and that is why we need to be more sensitive towards our whole environment. We need to teach our clients in such a manner that they try to understand what landscape is all about, which is, I think, missing here.
Right. I also want to know your view on climate first design. Do you think it's a fad or is it really the future, and why?
A complete fad.
Fad?
Yes.
Please explain why.
Okay. See, it's a complete fad because for an architect, it's given he has to be climate responsive and sensitive. So, wherever we are designing, what is your first take to the space? When if I go and see the site, what would I always ask? Where's the north pointer? So what am I doing? Why should I see a north pointer? So if I'm doing that, I am always seeing where the sun is going, where the wind is blowing. So it has to be a climate responsive architecture. So it is something which is given. It can't be a trend. See,
No, it's like part of your brief.
it's a part of your brief, and it's an unwritten rule.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's an unwritten rule. For me, you see, whatever you get inspired, you see so many different architecture places. Do you always does any architect design an igloo in a Sahara desert, or a mud architecture in Greenland or Iceland? No, they would not do it. And that particular shape of that built environment is the response to the climate of that place. An igloo has a typical shape to it, and why that shape is only because of the climate and the things which are there. You don't do a sloping roof there in Iceland. So, and similarly that you see locally, the houses in Rajasthan or hot humid climates here are so very different than houses in Cherrapunji or in South.
Absolutely.
So, climate is always there. They have to be there. It's a first given thing.
Is the first thing basically you consider before you start building?
Bilkul.
So you build
Always
as
been.
per the
See,
climate.
the reason to build is shelter, right? And
Correct.
shelter is because of a certain environment for which you're sheltering human being. So
Right.
it's a primary reason for architecture is sheltering, right?
Right.
So from that point of view, if you are in a rain place, your shelter would be different. If it's in a hot climate, the shelter would be different.
Even to it, something which has always inspired me as a student, as an architect, designed by Latins, New Delhi. How sensitive he was when he started doing this master plan. He first studied the climate all around us, the different elements of architecture that he could incorporate in the buildings. All these verandas, jalis. Why did he do that? He had all his thing to what he was doing in Britain. He could have easily copied the same thing here, but he didn't do that. So his response was so much climatologically aligned to what we needed in the climate of Delhi. And what we were talking about landscape, no one talks about what he did in landscape. Everyone talks about what his buildings are. But see how beautifully he designed the roadscape, the streetscape. And if you see that New Delhi avenues, you see a road, then the green patch, then the service road, then the green patch, then the road. And what happens is so much of green cover is there, this little heat island effect,
Yes.
which is totally missing in what you see in Chandigarh. And
Is that
No.
also the reason that whenever you're crossing that place, the temperature just goes
obviously, that green cover.
Yes.
And see the planting palette that he used. How sensitive he was by using jamun, neem, pilkan. He didn't use coconut. He could have easily done that. No one was stopping him.
down? Right.
So, and they have tested the time of time, more than 100 years. They are still there. and everyone goes to see them, they don't know what they are seeing at. That is the sensitivity of an architect towards his response towards where he is designing. And that is why the product and the project are so very different by the same architect.
Right. They have to be climate first, they have to be nature first.
Like in old eras, how,
Yeah.
you know, when there were no architects, how they used to take care of the all cross ventilations, air, lightings. And in you know, high monsoon where too much of humidity, if you've seen in Portugal and other places like Goa, the walls are like 2 feet.
Yes.
You know, so that, you know, that doesn't affect inside. When there was no air conditions, nothing was there.
Right.
Still people were feeling, you know, easy. So that's,
Something which is a beautiful example is your Red Fort.
yes.
If you see the throne, at the back is a jali, is stone jali, and at the back of that is a water body. It's called Nehre Bahisht. So if you see the concept of that Nehre Bahisht, the water used to come from River Yamuna, and the air used to flow on that, and then it used to have an air nozzle effect. So the air used to gush in at the back of the king. So what was it?
Yeah.
We just only think of the intricacy of that jali. We
Yes.
don't think why it was
Why
there.
that's there.
Correct.
So climate is always the paramount requirement of from an architect.
Anuradha, coming to you now, do you have some early memories of nature that you still end up infusing in your work?
So early memories when you are children, you know, you play in the playgrounds, you play in the parks, you play in the, so everywhere you pick up something from the nature, and because nature is very vast, it's not only green, as I already told you, that you know, you keep on, when you come and become a, you know, designer or an architect, you always, your memories will go back and you will, you know, try to see that what you can use in your current projects or something like that. Always trees, yes. And then there's a, you know, the playground areas, there's a courtyards, there are, you know, open spaces where you can actually use. So house is not just house. Like today is after COVID, everybody knows that, you know, house is the only luxury you can enjoy. So that is why we are bringing the nature inside and the building inside. So for that, from your old, you know, when you're a child or your children, you're playing with your friends or anybody, then you're keeping that in mind because your memories are starting from there. So how you become a designer and architect, so that you can bring those memories inside your projects now, so that they feel live.
And it must feel amazing when you actually, when it
Yes.
comes to life.
Yes, yes.
Vaibhav, do you believe that materials also kind of speak with one another?
I think architects make them speak. I think we are the conduit which do that. I think, and you can see projects where material are actually fighting with each other and where material are actually in love with each other.
That's so interesting. Please elaborate.
So, see, again, Lutyens Delhi, as in he used Dholpur Agra stone. It's two colors of the same family, and they really seems like they are in love with each other, right? You look at Gurgaon. It's an extreme example where each building is actually fighting with each other.
Yeah.
One glass
Too many
is
of them,
fighting. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I would say this building as well, but
Well,
You know, I would put it this way: the material palette is like a collage that we use to, you know, just to showcase whatever we are trying to do. Without
also, with every sort of, when you design a project, at the conceptual level, when you are sort of conceptualizing the design, because there is a context, there is the climate, there is all of that is there. There is also, you know, the context of local material. All of that, at that conceptual level, you are visualizing that building with the material. It's not like you're not visualizing. And that material is, so for example, if it's in a Gurgaon DLF housing, okay, just regular plotted development, you have to design a house. You have to react to the neighbors. You have to react to, in terms of visual sort of streetscape situation. Obviously, that material has to react to the environment, client's budget, etc., etc., etc. But it also needs to have this sort of conversation with the neighbors in terms of materiality, not in terms of windows or whatever, in terms of color, in terms of material. So if somebody's using stone or metal, whether you will use stone, metal, or you'll sort of, what is the kind of material will sort of then become some conversation between this guy who's a stone and this guy which is metal. And then you start thinking like that. So the context that way is for every architect, I think, for every designer, I'm not just an architect, whether it's designing anything, I think context is paramount. In which context are we designing? What is the base, you know? And that sort of gives you a lot of impetus. If you're designing in nature, if you're designing in a jungle, your material understanding and your material reaction to that would be to your trees, would be to your water if there is water.
Right.
You
So
would
context is key, basically.
Exactly.
For me, Vaibhav, just to cut you short, it's a beautiful example is Bikaji Kama Palace. And how beautifully the same material has been used to amalgamate the whole complex.
Imagine the entire complex was made out of glass.
Wow.
It would just be so. See, the glass can be a beautiful. Glass is. No material is bad, right? No material is bad, but I think we should not use material as a shortcut. As in, right now, it's a shortcut. I feel.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
It's become more industrialized, so it's not.
Right. Asit, lastly, I want to ask you, which projects of yours truly feel alive and why?
See, for me, a project to come alive has to work in a 3D. The project can only be alive when it is universal, it is timeless. It should give me happiness when I was designing it. It should be happy for the client. He should be happy and proud when he's using it. And the locality, wherever it is designed, it should be best suited to that place. Then only I would say the project is alive. So for me, that I just gave that example of doing an industrial building of Arihant. So I think that's one of my favorites today, because whenever I see it, I feel so happy, you know, looking at the landscape coming up. The clients also feel happy, you know, sitting in that complex, and similarly the visitors who are coming to that place. So that is how I would define being truly alive.
Thank you all for that very
you.
insightful conversation.
Thank you, Ambika.
Today's dialogue took us to the moments where nature whispered, materials responded, and sustainability became an act of creativity, not compromise. On that note, it's a wrap on this presentation of MConnect, celebrating architectural excellence and innovation. I'm Ambika Sharma. Thank you for watching.
Forbes India presents MConnect, powered by Marmo Solution.